Hi, I'm John McConnell of johnmcconnellyoga.com, and welcome to another free yoga video. So first I wanted to thank some people who've contacted me. A lot of people will like me on my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/johnmcconnellyoga, and I love that. I love to get messages on my page just to hear from people. And so here's some people that did that, and also I wanted to mention on my website I'm going to start sending out a newsletter to people starting next month. So if you go to my website, there's a newsletter place and you can sign up for my newsletter, which would be great. Okay, so just here's some people who contacted me. Emily in Vermont, Emmy in Japan, John in Virginia, Aaliyah in New York, and Jennifer. I think Jennifer's in California. Not totally sure, but I think so. So this week I wanted to talk about a movie that I saw. And it's one of those things like we get movies on iTunes. And if you do that, then you'll relate to what I'm talking about, where you just start going down some path and then you end up in a bunch of really random movies and find some gem in there somewhere. So anyway, we did that and we found this movie. It's called Grif the Invisible. And the synopsis of the movie is that Griff is a superhero. He lives in Australia and he has super strength and all these powers. And he lives in kind of a iffy neighborhood in Australia. I don't know what town he's in. And so he has all these video cameras all over, kind of checking out the neighborhood and the sophisticated computer system telling him when there's crime. And then he puts on his Grif the Invisible outfit and goes out and saves the day. Which is great. It'd all be good except that he's delusional and it's not really happening. So he meets this girl who's like a physicist. She's also a little bit wacky. She's really into trying to figure out how to walk through walls, because she looks at an atom and she's like, well, there's all this space in an atom, most of the matter is air. You should just be able to walk through walls. So these guys hit it off in their kind of crazy sort of way, and they start working on an invisibility kind of cloak for Griff, so that he doesn't have to be seen, so he can even do better saving of the day. And in the end, what happens is, they kind of both of them. Well, Griff discovers that maybe he isn't a superhero. To kind of make a long story short, and part of it is that there's a point when the girl and him are together, and she's talking to him, and she's saying, the thing about you is that you're the only person I've ever met that can see me. And I feel like I'm in this bubble and nobody sees me, and you're the first person that's got into my bubble and can see who I really am. And it's the same way for Griff. He's hassled by people because he's kind of seems like he's a little crazy. His brother is telling them, he can't be a superhero. And this woman, instead of saying that, is like, no, I want to support you in your superhero, occupation. So it's totally sweet, and it kind of ends up like they both end up seeing each other. And seeing each other meaning they can really see who each other is. Like, this is who you really are, this is who you really are. And through that, they just become happy, and they kind of let go of this idea that they have to be something else. Like, Griff stops thinking that he has to not be a superhero, and in thinking that, he's kind of freed from having to be a superhero. And his girlfriend stops thinking that she's crazy trying to walk through walls, and so then she doesn't feel like it's so weird, and she's more comfortable with who she is. So I love that it's called Grif the Invisible because he's trying to be invisible, but really all he really needs to be is seen. And in thinking about that in terms of yoga and yoga philosophy, it's like the exact same thing in yoga. All that yoga is about is being seen, and it's not necessarily being seen by others. It's seeing yourself as you are. And so, in the practice, it's about not trying to live up to somebody else's expectations of how you're supposed to be or what you're supposed to look like or how you're supposed to act, but living up to your own expectations and seeing yourself as you truly are, not as other people want you to be. And so it's this perpetual practice of acceptance and unveiling of your heart, removing coverings of your mind, and stopping of trying to be physically like somebody else you might see, And so it's great in that regard, And so instead of trying to be invisible and hiding from who you really are, it's about exploring who you are and seeing yourself as yourself. I think that's why I like the practice, because it's about getting rid of those barriers between you and yourself and being happy with who you are. And I think if more people were just happy with who they were, just think of how happier the world would be, instead of trying to cover yourself with material goods or trying to look a certain way or be a certain way. If you just are yourself, I think that's all the world really wants, at the depth of everyone's heart, is just for everyone else to be themselves in their own unique, amazing way. So the practice today, I just invite you to be good with where you're at. Enjoy this short practice and see how that goes for you, okay? So get a comfortable seat and close your eyes, and we're going to start with first, right off the bat, I like to do starting with gratitudes. So thinking about things, people, places that you're grateful for, it kind of softens those barriers, So a couple breaths, just things you're grateful for today. And it might be as simple as, your morning cup of coffee, or as vast as, you're grateful to be alive, But it's all, whatever it is perfect. So, a half dozen things. All right, and then we're just going to do a quick practice of awareness and acceptance. So first start with the physical body and just sit with your eyes closed. And we're just going to do a walkthrough of the body, and as we go, accepting and appreciating whatever's happening in that part of your body. All right, so we'll start with the feet, and just be aware of your feet and totally open to how your feet are feeling today. And as you go, see if you can be like that best friend who is saying to you, you're just perfect as you are. Just like in this movie. That's what they were saying to each other. So practice saying that to yourself. Without any sort of negative judgment, just like, oh, my feet, they're awesome. Then from the feet, move up to the knees. Same thing, just be aware of sensations in that part of your body. And just send appreciation and kind of acceptance. Then moving up to the thighs, all the way up to the hip socket. And again, what it is a practice of being aware, and also a practice of appreciation. It's like you're being seen, and it's okay what you see. Move into the hips, like notice what's on the mat. And all around your hips, front, back, sides. Just like, accept that, feel that. Bring awareness there as best you can. So some parts of your body actually seem hidden, which is interesting. Like you just can't quite get a handle on it. So see if you can see those hidden places too. Okay, and then in the stomach and the lower back and the sides, like that whole abdominal area. Appreciate that part of yourself. And then the ribs all the way up to the collarbones, all the way around. Okay, then we'll go out to the hands and just be accepting and appreciative of your hands. It's pretty great to have fingers, have hands. And then from your wrists all the way out to your elbows. So that whole part of yourself, just awareness, acceptance, appreciation. And go ahead and move to your upper arms, into your shoulder sockets. And then your shoulder girdle, which is like all around your upper body. Where your shoulders come into the sockets, the collarbones and the back, that whole upper part of your chest. And just this sense of like, oh, I'm seeing that, I accept that, it's perfect. That's what I'm inviting for you today. And into the neck, so all sides of the neck. So if you feel any pain, see if you can be accepting of that. If it feels really good, see if you can be accepting of that. It's just, it's not that it's not that you want to just like be like, oh, I want to be in pain all the time and it doesn't matter. Like, of course you want to be healthy, but sometimes the acceptance of pain is a way to get to health, the awareness of it instead of hiding from it. And then your whole head. So that means your ears, your nose, your eyes, your mouth, the whole head, your face, what you look like. See if you can have that voice in your head tell you, give you a positive affirmation. All right, and then let's move to your thoughts. So wherever you're at right now in your mind, whether you're really busy in the mind or open in the mind, see if you can cultivate a sense of seeing that and being okay with it. And then let's move to your emotional self. So if you're angry, if you're sad, if you're happy, if you're jubilant, whatever it is, emotionally, let there be a sense of like, okay. That's where I'm at today, and it's good to see that and be okay with that for today. It's like just this nice sense of acceptance. And then bring your palms together at your heart center. I just want you to repeat this mantra. Mantra is just like a repeating phrase, positive affirmation. And I just want you to say to yourself quietly, I'm perfect as I am. And that means perfect physically, perfect emotionally, perfect spiritually. So just repeat that over a couple breaths here. And then we'll chant together, and we'll chant the sound of Om. Let's chant one time. Full exhale. A deep, sweet inhale. Om. Great. Release your hands, open your eyes. Let's come over onto our stomach actually today. Just lay down onto your stomach. Bring the shoulder blades toward the back, lift the heart. Just a little. Then push down with the knees widen through the low back and the hips and scoop the tailbone. So it's just like broad, steady, strong in the core as you lift the heart up. Just a nice, real easy practice today. More being with yourself as we do just gentle back openers. Steady breath. Every breath may be going a little bit further. And, really see where you're at. So it's like, oh, I can see this. It feels really good. I'll stay here. Or maybe it feels good to lift the heart more or go a little lower. Okay, so go back to downward dog. Bend the knees, tops of the thighs back, and broaden through the low back. Scoop the tailbone. And then we'll bring the right foot forward into a lunge and lower the back knee down. And just lunge a little more forward. Point the back toes. Steady breath here, opening through that back quad, top of the back leg. Okay, go back to downward dog and switch sides. Lower the back knee, lunge a little deeper, point the back toes. Just getting into that back quad a little bit. Focusing on really just being with yourself today, not doing anything too crazy. Just being with your mind, being with your heart, being with your body. Okay, back to downward dog. Then we'll go back to the other side and come into pigeon. So the lower leg's on the mat, point the back toes, and lower down to wherever you can get to. And here, what I think about a lot in this posture is how the way to go deeper is to recognize where you're at, which is exactly what I'm talking about. The way to go deeper into yourself, to be happier, is to see where you're at right now, And so here in this posture, really recognize where the stretch is for you. And embrace that. Breathe into it. And you might notice that when you focus on it and you breathe into it, it's like the possibilities open up a little bit. If you run away from it, then it's like, oh, I can't do that. It's too hard. It's too intense. But when you look at it and you're like, oh, I just need to relax a little bit, or I see where the stretch is, Same thing with Griff and his girlfriend, they just, instead of running away from themselves, they just needed to be able to have some reinforcement that it was okay, that who they were was fine. In yoga, you do that for yourself. Okay, so back to downward dog. And just switch sides. A little opener here. You can point the back toes. And breathe, so level hips. Again, be aware of where the opening is here on the side. Breathe into it. Be accepting of it. And the whole point, it's not even too hard to figure out. It's pretty logical. Like if you're putting yourself down because you're too tight, or you should be able to do this or should be able to do that, you're putting yourself down. You're not being a good friend, So instead, you can say, it's fine. I'm practicing. That's awesome. Good for me. All right. And then let's go back to downward dog once again. Just reaching back. Nice stretch through the spine. Good. And then let's lower down to our knees. We're going to just lay down and roll over like a log. And place the feet flat. See, I told you it wasn't going to be too crazy today. So feet are flat, knees are bent, and just take in this posture. Like some postures, it's like a lot easier to see yourself and be cool with that. Like this is one of them. It's just like, oh, how nice to be invited to just lay down, and the whole thing is just laying down. Nothing more to it than that. So just find comfort here. And then we'll keep the feet flat, the left foot flat, but just extend the right leg up, interlace the fingers behind the right thigh, and just pull that foot towards your head. And as you do that, notice if you get all flat in the low back, keep some round in the low back as you bring the foot towards your head. And then push a little bit in the thigh towards your interlace fingers. In class this week, I've been talking a little bit about this theme in my live classes. And so we've been coming up with my favorite superheroes. So if you want to send me your favorite superheroes, you can do that. I'd love to hear everybody's favorite superheroes. That'd be great. So breathe into this stretch. Okay, good. Set the foot down. Real easy. Do the other side. So extend the leg up. Push the thigh into the fingers as the foot comes toward the head. Mainly just have this sense of acceptance, of appreciation for yourself, where you're at in this practice today. No appreciation for getting on the mat at all, Watching this video, taking this class. That's a big accomplishment in itself. Okay, place that foot down. Good, and then we'll go back to the other side. So right foot across the left knee. And then you can either interlace the fingers behind the left thigh, just like we just did, or bring the leg more in so you can interlace the fingers in front of the shin. Whatever feels good. I'll try it in front of the shin today. Spread your toes, and again, notice your low back. If it's pushed flat on the floor, see if you can rock the pelvis forward, and there's more space under the low back. And if you do that and there's less space, then rock your pelvis the other way. And that's the direction you want to go. Okay, switch sides. Interlace the fingers. Bring the leg in. So this side, when I put my hands to pull my shin in, I actually felt a little bit in my knee. Didn't feel quite right, so I just switched. Hands behind the thigh. It's oh, that's where I am. I see that. You just let that go and do something that feels good, And it's not like I do that all the time. I always see myself, but it helps. It's all a practice, Okay, place the feet flat. Widen the knees a little bit, and then, widen the feet a little bit, and then just rock your knees side to side real easy. Nothing too crazy, just letting go of the hips. And then extend your right arm up and bring your knees to the left. So just feel this nice length along the whole right side of your rib cage, all the way up to your fingers. You can even take your left hand, place it on the top of your right thigh, and just push your right thigh away, just to get that sense of getting a little bit longer on the right side of the rib cage, all the way up to your fingers. Again, just be accepting of where you're at with that. Breathe into it, and lower that hand down. Go all the way over to the other side. Extend the left hand up, and you can use your right hand to kind of push your left thigh away long along the left side of the rib cage. Breathe into that. Okay, good. Come back to center. And then hug both knees into your chest and just roll yourself around a little. Little rolls in your hips. And then slowly place your feet down, extend your legs out, arms along the sides, and we'll just take a short Shavasana here. And in Shavasana, same deal, like just let yourself be, you know. Let yourself be okay. Let yourself get heavy in the mat, release in the mind. Feel bright in your heart. So from here, slowly start to deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers, your toes. And then extend your arms up over your head. Nice long stretch. And then relax and pull to the right side. Use your arm as a pillow. Makes it comfortable. And then move slow, and let's come all the way up to a seat and sit with your eyes closed. Just take a quick view of yourself, like everything at the same time, mind, body, spirit. See yourself and accept what you see. Like it's just a practice of not being invisible to yourself. All right, let's bring the palms together, heart center. We'll go ahead and chant the sound of Om together, and we'll chant one time. So full exhale, deep, sweet inhale. Om. Namaste. All right. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed that. Have a nice week.